What is up, y'all? We're back on the trail for a couple of minutes. Just for a couple of minutes here. And then we'll head on over to the games room. Want to talk about an old school OG Xbox game with you guys today. So what we're going to do here, I'm not going to talk too much. Just going to go through the trail and see if I can come across any wildlife. And if not, well, at least I got a little bit of exercise today. And yeah, so this should be fun. Stay tuned. I'm not quite sure what we are looking at here. How's that for an intro? Not bad, eh? So today we're talking about Dead Man's Hand. And the funny thing is, actually, before we talk about the game, I've always been a big fan of Westerns as far as film is concerned. Growing up, I remember specifically in the mid-90s, we didn't have a DVD player at the time, just VHS and whatever was on TV. And my parents bought me a double, like some of the VHS back in the day, if the movie was long enough, you'd get two tapes instead of one. It was just like, whereas now obviously you can fit everything on one Blu-ray. But I remember we had the good, the bad, and the ugly, the Sergio Leone film. And I remember I watched that over and over and over again. Just an incredible piece of film. Clint Eastwood, fantastic film score, the story, the scene at the end where they're running around the cemetery, just absolutely incredible. And then it wasn't until like years later, I want to say within the last 5 years, I finally sat down and watched the other Sergio Leone film, Once Upon a Time in the West. And man, that movie blew me away. That's the one with Charles Bronson. That music you heard just a moment ago, that's basically referred to as the man with the harmonica. And that was done by Ennio Morricone, which we've talked about on previous videos. So Once Upon a Time in the West is just an incredible piece of film. Some would even say it's the greatest film of all time. It obviously had a huge impact on Quentin Tarantino. Because obviously, where do you think he got the title for his film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Well, there you go. So yeah, if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in the West, it's just absolutely just masterclass. So, naturally, anytime there's a Western video game, I always just sort of get immediately drawn to it. I remember picking up the original Red Dead Redemption. Oh my God, blew me away. Played it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Obviously, the sequel is a damn near perfect game. Red Dead Revolver is really good as well. And then recently I finally picked this up for the original Xbox, and that's Dead Man's Hand. Now, I could be mistaken. I don't think this came out on the PC. I think the only way you can play this is if you have an original Xbox and you have a copy of this. I don't even think it's backwards compatible, So yeah, it didn't come out in the PlayStation 2. Didn't come out on the Nintendo GameCube. And not only that, it's funny, the game came out in 2004, infamously, the same year of Doom 3 and Half-Life 2. So this came out in March of 2004, and then I think around August, Doom 3 came out, and then was it November of 2004? That's when we got Half-Life 2. So one of the biggest years of all time, if not the biggest year for first-person shooters, but this one sort of wasn't included in the mix. But it's funny, this game was developed by Human Head Studios, which 2 years later they finally released the game Prey, which needs no introduction. So it's funny, this game kind of plays a little bit like Prey as far as the frame rate. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this game, and I'll show you some gameplay footage here. So it's just one of those things. It kind of reminds me of the game Deadly Premonition. Is this game perfect? Absolutely not. Does it have a ton of charm? Yes, it does. The game, does it have good controls? Not really. Hit detection is atrocious. Music is really good. The graphics are nothing to write home about. But the fun factor is a 10 out of 10 in this game. There's even a level which you can see here where you're actually riding a horse, and it comes off as like a rail shooter, and it's a lot of fun. You can blow the cowboy hat off the NPCs for extra points. You can collect cards out in the I want to say the linear world. So when you finish a chapter, you can play a round of Dead Man's Hand, which is a card game, and you can use those points towards other things as well. You get a fairly decent selection of handguns and rifles. Is the game difficult? It can be. There's boss battles as well. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. And again, I really do appreciate that the game is linear, and when you finish a mission, it brings up the map, and you can replay other missions, or you can move on to the next mission. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's just funny, you look at a game like this, and there'd be a ton of reviewers out there, or gamers in the community that would scoff at this game and laugh at it and throw it under the bus. But I'm a firm believer that even a bad game has redeeming qualities, and if you can look past, some of the flaws in this game, you're rewarded with a game that's it's gonna provide you with hours of fun. And I even recommended it to Dan, one of the members in the community here, and MegaDan29. He likes to stream. He's really good at that stuff. I'm not. And I recommended it to him, and he picked up a copy. So hopefully we can see him stream Dead Man's Hand. He's been playing a lot of the original Xbox lately. But yeah, it's funny because this game is kind of fringe, getting expensive depending on where you look. And you're getting channels like MJR that are touting it, of course, as a hidden gem. And it's hard to find. You don't see it out in the wild. I would say 5 or 6 years ago, you could absolutely find this in the wild. Now, I had to go to a boutique store to pick this up. And I didn't pay a lot for it. I think I paid $15, which is reasonable. But man, I'm glad I picked it up, because now it is, a crown jewel of my original Xbox collection. And you're not going to be able to play it anywhere else. You need an original Xbox to play it. It's not backwards compatible that I'm aware of. So yeah, this is one of those things. I don't think you can buy it digitally. If you can, correct me in the comments below. But yeah, Dead Man's Hand, fantastic. Is it as good as Red Dead Revolver or Red Dead Redemption? Absolutely not. But I'm telling you, give it a chance, and you'll be rewarded with a lot of fun. So, yeah, so that's it for my initial impressions on Dead Man's Hand. I'm going to try to wrap it up hopefully tonight or tomorrow, and then maybe I can give you guys my final thoughts on this game. I don't think it's going to change much. The gameplay is not overly complicated, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really glad I picked it up. So there you have it. Those are my initial impressions of Dead Man's Hand. If you haven't played it, make sure you go out and pick it up. Fantastic game. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.